Okay, as promised, today's quick tip is about how to handle a babbler, but I'm actually going to give you a little more than just that in this video. One is going to be how to handle a babbler, but the other one is actually going to be some tips that you can use to handle a big group of babblers when there's no control and there's chaos and there's a power struggle if you have a group session. So if you have 10 or 20 or 30 people, and then I'll also add a +1 in there if you've got a group of, let's say, this actually works in small groups of 20, but it will work in a room of 300 plus as well. So may not be applicable, but it's just a little bonus fun material for you today. So first, the babbler, one-on-one. If you get me and you ask me even a close-ended question, I'm going to be very forthcoming about the answer. And at some point, you might find me deviating off course, and I'm no longer talking about relevant issues because they blend together like that 90-year-old on the back porch telling you about the war that he was in, and pretty soon you're talking about onions. So here's how you do it in a way here's a couple of ways that you can do it that isn't rude, but you need to interject when they take a breath. And you notice that maybe they don't even need to breathe. So one way to do it is wait for and listen for something that they said that is somewhat relevant, or maybe not, but anything at all that you can tap back into. So if they're talking about, let's say, random stuff, they're saying, yeah, back when I was in the war, I used to have a bunch of guns and I would wallow in the mud and all that kind of stuff. And that mud was highly nutritious, which is why we could grow such great onions. I was really known in my camp for, being the cook in the place. And we took those MREs, I don't even know what they're called, those MRIs, I don't know. We took those packages of crappy food and I'd add onions and do stuff. And they're so far off course that you don't know what happens now. So my mind goes to, what can I grab any of that, right? I'm typically going to jump in and say, while he or she is still talking, I'll say, you said something really interesting back there. Or you said something that really stood out for me just now. Try this, and you'll see that they'll still talk, but then the pace slows down and they'll be like, what's that? And it's magic. It's weird. This is experiential. You're going to need to just try this. But as they're talking, and then bring up the thing that popped out for you. So I might say, you mentioned that you were the cook in that you were the one that implemented. Yeah, well, I was all kinds of, well, the question I have about that is, and so I'm trying to bring them back into course, and then I'll ask, it may take 2 questions, but I'll get them back on course. So maybe whatever it is that you're offering helps them be a leader or something like that. Maybe they said, I'm sick of getting pushed around and like, I'm just all these problems and I need you as a coach and whatever the stuff is. And they tell you about this weird story. Well, I'm thinking maybe leadership and tying it together in some weird way. I'm just making this up on the spot, but I might say, you said that you were the one that was the cook and made things better. Did I hear that right? Well, yeah, it's because, the thing that jumps out for me about that is that's a leadership attribute and no one asks you to do it. That's what leaders do. Leaders see opportunities and then they take advantage of that. Tell me more about your experience as a leader or whatever it is. That was, just a random example, but the idea is I'm going to ask a question, sometimes even while they're still talking, and it will often say something like, you said something really interesting back there, or I heard something that doesn't make sense, or something like that. Usually a comment followed by a question or a statement and a comment. That will get them back on track. Your real job is to help them down a particular logical path, not to do all of the talking. Okay, so that's just one easy tip. If somebody is talking and they get off course, feel free to ask a question, but point it out with a compliment. Hey, you said something really interesting, or you just said something very interesting to me just now. And then they'll be like, yeah, and the onions in the mud and what's that? And now is your opening. Ask them a question that's relevant. The second thing is a small group of people, chaos. Right? So I promised you 2 more. These ones will be much quicker. It's chaos. There's power hungry people and trying to take control of a meeting. This is really actually how to take control of a meeting. A lot of people think it's the loudest speaker or it's the smartest person. Both of those help, but the truth is it's actually the person that is willing to take notes. So if you have a whiteboard, be the person to grab the magic marker, the dry erase marker and go up to the board, or be the person with the notes. And you can actually start changing the dynamic of that. Let's say that you have 2 different sides of people and they're doing a lot of talking. you could say, you just said something interesting back there. Can you back that up so that I can record that? And then if somebody else talks, say, I'll grab you in just a second. Tell me, say that again. Did you say these words? Okay, now before we say the why on that, but you said something completely different. What was that? No, just before that. What you've just done is turned them into a tape player. Okay, that just dated me. An MP3 player. Oh, that dated me too. Some kind of a recording device that has rewind and forward, okay? And you've just said pause, rewind, play again, back up a little more, and you've just become the conductor of a band, right? Or the orchestrator of the conversation. And you can actually start adding sanity into the insanity of the room and start making progress. So it's actually the person that's taking the notes that can actually direct the group, no matter who the powerful voices are. Just a quick tip. There's a lot more in that space, but it's a really easy go-to. It's a non-threatening way to actually interject and start getting people to, make sense and move forward. The last one is a big group of people. If everybody's talking and it's just noise in a room, and let's say that you're up on stage or you're in a conference room and everybody's talking, I don't even know why this works, but it's fun and it works so fast. If you have a microphone, you do it in the microphone. If it's just in the group, then you say the words, hey, real quick, raise your hand if you're not talking. I have no idea why this works, but I've been on the receiving end of this as well, by the way, just talking, and they're up like, hey, everybody, hey, welcome, and nobody's talking, or nobody's stopping for that, and they say, hey, everyone, real quick, raise your hand if you're not talking. And they'll be like, yeah, and yesterday Sally Sue did. It's the weirdest thing. It gets so silent so fast. If you ever get a chance to do this, just for fun, do it. They'll chuckle. You can even tell them, hey, I have no idea why that works, but it always does. But since I have your attention, let's jump into it. With that, those are the quick tips for today. The main thing is handling a babbler. If you haven't done it already, I know you hear this a lot, but please do hit that subscribe button so when you know when the next videos are coming out. Give me a like or a dislike. Hit that bell if you want. And until next time, I hope you stay amazing, keep doing amazing things, and do let me know if there's anything specific that you want me to talk about. I'm happy to share any opinions that I have. I want to make it clear I don't know everything yet. I'm pursuing that. But for right now, I'm always happy to share everything that I do think I know up to this point, and I hope it helps. We'll see you soon.